Okay, now we will officially call the meeting to order. Thank you everybody for attending. And we will start off with approval of consent agenda items. And it looks like we have one extra thing on here, maybe?
Yeah, a couple things on the July year-to-date. On the July statistical report, Anthony noticed an error I made, so I just wanted to update that. It's just one number.
It actually was a compliment. I didn't realize it was an error. Catholic guilt is taking over.
I'm sorry, go on.
He's been very carefully tracking our resources numbers, and he knew that I had gotten it wrong. So for year-to-date 2023, under the e-resources, so that's on page 6 if you've downloaded from Govenda, the number should be 91,308, which is a 20% increase for this year, 2024.
Wait, what does the number say now, though?
Right now, year-to-date 2023 for e-resources in July says 124,408, and that should be struck.
Okay, it's the 2023 number that's wrong.
Yes.
What's the correct number?
91,308.
Okay.
And then the percentage next to that says minus 12% should say 20%.
Plus 20.
Yeah,
plus 20.
Yep.
It was a very good error.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I wanted to draw attention to was the confirmation email. Most of you confirmed via email about the space planning project invoice that I needed to get put through in August. So I just copied the email, put it in the packet as part of the consent agenda so that we can confirm that vote that we made by email.
Okay, so this is something that already passed by email, and we're just confirming that by approving it in this package, correct?
Yes, and Monica is online.
Okay. And did the email voting work out okay for that, since we might have that issue?
I mean, I approved it, so.
It was on the understanding if you didn't hear from me, it was.
Yes, that was how I worded it, but a lot of people got back to me anyway, which is maybe the better way to do it. I don't know if it's even Robert's rules wise, if it's legal or not, but the confirming it here should make it all kosher. So
that sounds good. Does anyone have any other corrections or suggestions or concerns about the consent agenda package?
Was it that the financials weren't in there? Was that addressed?
Yes, I sent an email at about 5:15. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I was trying to get done before I went to Harrisburg last week, and it uploaded incorrectly. So you should have it. It's in Govenda correctly, and you should have it in an email, the whole packet. And as soon as I can figure out, I think this happens every time, how to allow you to show your video, do that. There we go. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Sorry that I was just a minute or two late. We're trying to juggle kids.
You are okay, Monica. We are glad you are here now.
There she is.
Hello.
There's one. Where's the other one?
Is that she's screaming in the other room.
And what's this?
I think I just lost sound for the room, unless nobody's talking.
How about now?
Can you hear us?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Anthony has motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a second. Kristen, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Consent agenda package is approved, including the confirmation email vote. We will move on to comments from observers. I do not see any observers. We will pass Amy until she's still not on yet, Robin. Okay.
Not yet, no.
And we'll move on to Susan.
Yes, friends have been very busy. Our fall sale went well. The profit was $2,356. We were from, I think we started at 10 until 1:30. We sold the last mom at 1 o'clock. So we had, anticipated very well. People came in after 1 looking to buy moms, but too late. I want to say thank you to Katie, the teen librarian down here, in the Friends group, I think we have about 160 volunteers. But every now and then, when we have a plant sale, we need people that can actually get up and move, pick up the things. So we asked Katie, and then she sent out an email to all the kids that take part in the teen library. And invariably, they're wonderful. And this, twosome, they were just amazing. And we usually get a chance to talk with the kids when they're here or listen to them talk. And that's always nice. But this time, again, especially, they were talking about Katie is the best thing that ever happened in this library. The teen library area now is just, they love it. They love her. They're so happy to help. And always the community appreciates teens that are doing that.
Good stuff.
It's amazing. I mean, really, truly, when I see it, I just feel it intensely. People, the youngster would say, can I carry these to your car? And the adult would say, I'm parked in the parking lot, that's okay. It was just loaded with enthusiasm and just all good. So that's all on that. I could go on and on, but I know better. I will be representing the Friends at the PALA conference, I guess it's called, in Harrisburg. So I'm really excited about that. I've not ever gone. I didn't even know that Friends people went, but I was told sure. And so the PCBL, Pennsylvania Citizens for Better Libraries, has a table there. So I will be chatting up anybody who comes by and talk about anything they'd like to talk about, but mostly Friends and the benefits and what the PCBL does on behalf of Friends across the state. And I will be able to take some of the sessions they have there, and I'm looking forward to that too. I haven't seen the list of what's what. I have no idea. But
I can get that for you.
Well, and that would be nice if I could see it, but I said, oh, and they said, you can just pick when you get there. You know, it's not like, there's no deadline, there's no anything, just say, oh, I want to go there and do that. So I'm looking forward to the learning part of it, but also the sharing of what I know Friends can do and the importance, just how the whole thing, PCBL, Friends, libraries, how it just all kind of connects. So that's that. I do have a message for Suzanne, and she's not here and she's not there. So
yeah, she's traveling, I think.
Okay. She likes Kristen Hanna. And when I was sitting up there talking about Friends and Love Your Library, all that, a woman was talking to me about Kristen Hanna. So I was listening because I do like her writing. I do like the book, The Women. And she told me that the VBC, which is Veterans Breakfast Club, will be interviewing her on the 23rd at 7 o'clock. So if I have Susan, I mean,
I can connect you.
Yeah, please do that because it's all by Zoom. I would hate for her to miss it just because she didn't know about it. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Amy is on now.
Oh, okay.
Everyone, this is Amy Anderson. She's the Chief Executive Officer for the Allegheny County Library Association, and she's my guest this evening. So I wanted her to get to meet all of you and sit in on one of our meetings.
Hi, Amy. Can you hear us and see us okay?
Yes, loud and clear. And thank you for having me. And thank you for the Zoom option. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but traffic had other ideas. So
that's okay. We are more than happy that you're joining us this way. We carved out, your timing was great because we carved out some time for you on our agenda and we're right there. So you may have the floor.
So thank you. I'm not quite sure what you want to know from me, but it's nice to meet you all. And thank you for inviting me to your meeting today. I've been at ACLA for almost 3 years now. Some days it seems like it's been 30 and sometimes it seems like it's been 30 minutes. So it's good to make my way around the county. So I came here from Upper East Tennessee. I lived in Bristol for a number of years. I worked as a library director there at the Bristol Public Library. And most recently, I worked for the Tennessee State Library and Archives as a regional director, which is essentially a very similar job to what I do here at ACLA. And in that I do consulting and I worked with the member libraries. The big difference being that at that job, I was in charge of 10 counties and was required to go to every single board meeting that happened within those 10 counties. So, I am a professional board member attendee. So if you ever have any questions, I'm happy to relay my experience there. So again, thank you. If you had any questions or anything in particular you wanted me to talk about tonight, I'd be happy to do so.
Amy, I typically give an ACLA, ENAC, RAD update, but if you want to just talk a little bit about RAD, about the budget hearings and about the public day coming up and all that.
Sure. Yes, we recently had our RAD public hearing, which is what we do annually to normally it's to go over our budget request for the year and our plans for the next year. This time around, it was a little bit different. They changed the format to more of a question and answer session instead of a presentation. And their questions this year had very little to do with our budget ask or our big plans or what's been going on in the libraries. It was more about the Sunday hours issue that's been coming up. So that was a big part of their focus, which I was prepared for, but not excited about because that's a very big question. They are wanting libraries to be open every evening, and they want libraries to be open on all libraries to be open on Sundays, which is a challenge for some of our libraries. Some of our bigger libraries are open on Sundays, and we appreciate that. And I know your communities do as well. But for some of our communities, there's not a lot of need on Sundays, and there's not enough funding to open that seventh day of the week. So, it's going to be a big conversation. It's going to be something that is ongoing with the RAD. I know that's one of their sticking points this year. So I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but we're going to keep having the conversation with them about, yes, we want our libraries responsive to their community's needs, but that may not necessarily look the same for every single community. So, and additionally, there's a lot of challenges to overcome before we can tell people that when they have to be open and when they don't have to be open. And a lot of those challenges are things like being able to have enough funding to pay salaries, competitive salaries, to get people who are willing to work on Sundays, to get to pay benefits for those libraries that are unable to do so. So there's some bigger issues at hand, and I hope that through this we can address some of those bigger issues and maybe get some consensus on ways to truly help the libraries in our communities. So that's my goal with that. We'll see how it goes throughout the year. I'm hoping that this is something that we can compromise on with the RAD and move forward there. So that was how the hearing went. We won't know until probably November what our allocation will be for this year. And as soon as we know, we will pass that along to the libraries, and then they will pass it along to you. But there is a public hearing day, and that is in October. I believe it's the 25th. Is that right, Robin?
I thought it was the 15th.
15th?
Yeah. It was a 5% increase you asked for. Is that correct?
Yes, we asked for a 5% increase. We were told to probably expect a little less than that, but to ask big. So we did ask for a 5% increase across the board. They have they had agreed to freeze the formula from last year, so we can use last year's numbers and then add whatever our increase ends up being. That is what we'll use for our formula this year. We are going to be working toward a new formula for the 2026 budget, however. So that is in the works there.
So yeah, it's the public comment hearing is Tuesday, October 15th at 3 p.m. in the Coppers building. So it's really helpful for them to hear from people who are not working in Allegheny County public libraries when we try to get support. So if board members or very active patrons or friends want to submit, you can submit comments or you can attend in person. You have to register. You can email at info@radworkshere.org. You can call, fax. There are lots of ways to submit your feelings about the budget. So basically, I think just asking for support for Allegheny County libraries and all the wonderful things that the libraries do is really helpful for us.
Yeah, with the idea that yes, we run into challenges with RAD, but there's also some benefits that we've seen over the past couple of years. We had that extra $3 million one-time burst in funding. This year it was our PC refresh, which got all the computers in all of the libraries across the county replaced free of charge to us. So, they've been, we want to thank them for what they do, but we also want to let them know that the good things that our libraries are doing and the good work they're doing out in their communities. Every single one of our libraries is extremely responsive to their community needs to the extent that they are able to do so. And with a lot of our libraries can make magic happen. I swear, librarians are able to make $1 into $5. I swear. So, we're doing great things with what we have across the board. And anyone who wants to tout that and the work that the libraries are doing, we would greatly appreciate.
I mean, outside of like RAD budgeting issues, what are some of the other bigger ticket issues or challenges that you find ACLA has to deal with on a regular basis? Is there other stuff that comes to mind, or is it mostly?
Yeah, it's honestly, for most of our libraries across the county, funding is a big issue, and making sure that they can pay their staff an appropriate wage, or an even somewhat appropriate wage. Benefits are a huge issue. A lot of our libraries are just not able to provide benefits to even full-time staff, which is it extra difficult when it comes time to try to recruit new staff. When you can go work part-time at Starbucks and get full benefits and your tuition paid, it's hard to fight that. So that's one thing that we're going to be looking at over as much as we can, is how we can help the libraries to get access to benefits and be able to afford those benefits as well. It's difficult. I would love for ACLA to be able to just be a blanket carrier of benefits and offer them outwards, but unfortunately I learned that is illegal in Pennsylvania. So we are not able to do that as much as I would like to. They don't care that I really want to. It's still illegal. So so that's one of the things we're going to be looking at. We're also, one of our big projects that we are undertaking is getting some community mapping done, some statistics and demographics set up. We are working with with a software called Policy Map, and that will allow us to do some deep dives into demographics for our communities and to get some really good information there. And we want to create one-pagers that we can update on a regular basis that outline demographics for each community and be able to do some trainings on how to use that information to make sure that you are hitting all parts of your community, to make sure there's not any desert areas that aren't being met with library service, especially in some of our larger communities. So we're working on that, and we just this year, as part of our ask to the state, we also ACLA asked for $150,000 for vending machines, book vending machines that we can put in places like Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh and at the Allegheny County Jail Visiting Center. And it would be filled with children's books that the kids could go and get a token and be able to take a book home with them when they're in what's probably not so great of a situation. So books about other kids in a similar situation to them, or books with positive themes and happy themes in them. And we want to make sure that we are meeting our communities everywhere we can and getting books into the hands of kids that may not have access to them at that point in time. So we asked for that as a legislative ask outside of our budgetary ask, and we actually were awarded that twice. We got an allotment from the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats as well. So we will be getting a total of $290,000 for vending machines that we can put out into the community in places like that to get books into the hands of kids. So, and then it'll also have information about Allegheny County libraries with the books on how to get a library card, how to, where to go, what libraries are close by, things like that. So we're very excited about that. That's one of our big projects that we were, one of our countywide initiatives that we've been thinking about, and we're thrilled that we're going to be able to move forward on that this year.
Does anyone else have any questions for Amy while we have her? Okay, well, thank you very much for making the time to join us today.
Thank you very much. And as I tell Robin all the time, I'm here if you all ever need anything or have any questions. If you need me to assist with anything or what have you, I'm available. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You're welcome to stay on if you want.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I believe our commission liaison is not present online.
She is not. There is in my last minute update to our board packet, and my apologies for that, she had sent me her report this afternoon. She was unavoidably detained by an executive session at MRSA. So whatever's going on down there, she needs to be involved. So as I said, I added it to Govenda, but I'll just quickly go through. She wanted to give us a few brief updates. The commission is considering proposals from consultants to complete an active transportation plan for Dormont and Mount Lebanon. The plan will explore ways that we can make roads and streets more friendly and accommodating to a wide variety of users, including bicyclists, pedestrians, school children, and people with disabilities. And that's part of our comprehensive plan. The fire chief, Nick Sahida, retired at the end of August. He's been with the community for 25 years. He's a really cool guy. He's the reason there are Grateful Dead logos on all of our fire trucks. So right now, Sean Daniels, his deputy, who is also absolutely amazing, he's the acting chief, and they're going to start the search process for the new fire chief soon. I've been invited to an initial focus group in early October, so they'll be getting that process going. The commission is continuing discussions with Mount Lebanon School District to explore possible collaborations for field and rec facility usage. They are nearing completion of the main park and rec study. So still no clear plans there yet. And let's see, last week at the commission meeting, the civic engagement group, which is what the community relations board has morphed into, they did a presentation about the Welcoming America program and about how Mount Lebanon can become a welcoming community. So they're researching that. And the last thing she has to talk about is that budget time will be upon us very soon. Staff is working on recommendations. As always, there will be more requests than there are dollars, and it will be up to the community to weigh in on what our most important needs and desires are. The library will have a copy of the 2025 manager's recommended budget to peruse, and I will be happy to hear your suggestions. I'll let you know when those come in. We haven't received them yet, but it should be near the end of this month. So that's Nan's report.
Thank you for delivering it. I don't have a president's report other than to say I hope everyone had a nice summer and enjoyed your August off from library board matters. And we can move straight on to our directors.
Okay, and I won't, Amy, I apologize. I didn't send you the board packet because I expected you to be here in person. I don't think I gave you a copy, did I? So let me just forward. I will forward it to you after the meeting. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, as you know, I never read our reports but these are July and August. So July was finishing up summer reading. I don't have summer reading numbers for you yet. We're still working on getting those compiled to turn into the state, but at the November meeting, you'll have a full report of summer reading numbers. We are in the middle of Love Your Library Month, in case you hadn't noticed. So thanks to the very generous support of Jack Buncher Foundation, every donation up to $500 will be matched this month. We've already passed our initial goal of $15,000, so we're working on a new goal of $20,000 by the end of the month. So if you have not yet contributed, please, and if you're able, please do so. Everything you contribute to the library counts. So if you shop in the bookseller or renew your friend's membership, that counts towards the match. And I think you're having a sale, is that right?
20% off on the online shop. If you go in, you get 20% off. And in the golly, I want to say, because I asked how's that going, and I think in the first, this doesn't even sound right, but it's pretty close. In the first 40 minutes, 25 books were sold. So
people love a sale. I love a sale.
They do, and I didn't go by. I went and I was doing math and thinking, this is $8 and 20% off. I just doing that sort of thing. So, and then it continued on. I didn't hang around to watch as things were happening, but they were very enthusiastic about the response. So, yeah.
There were really good books on there too. I didn't buy any, but there were good ones.
Yeah.
I have a stack in my office that I need to, pay my tab.
Well, we need for it.
Okay, September is also library card sign up month. So if you have not used your library card in a while, or if you don't have a library card, please get a library card. You're on the library board. Please get a library card. Make sure your family members have library cards. There's so many awesome things that you can do with your card. I believe that Amy, was the RAD staycation extended for some of the assets?
Yes, I believe they have extended it through the end of September at the very least for some of the assets. I think like the zoo, there's some pretty big ones in there. So
great. So if you go to radpass.org, you can get free tickets or reduced tickets to a number of assets all over the city. It's a wonderful program and it's free with your library card.
It's really easy. to do it. You just go in, pick a date, print out a thing, and go to whatever museum you want for free. We do it all the time.
Yeah, they had all kinds of great stuff. Meadowcroft
Yeah.
Rock Shelter was in there, all kinds of things. So we just did the mum sale. The library is hosting flu shot clinics. One is tomorrow and the next is September 24th. So if you haven't gotten your flu shot, you can just register on the library's events calendar and get your flu shots. And the only other thing I had as far as announcements that isn't already in the reports, that we're trying to nail down already next year's garden tour date, because they want to plan the Midsummer Festival and we don't want them to coincide. So it looks like we're going to do the Midsummer Festival on the first day of summer reading and make it just a big extravaganza blowout day. But so Anthony weighed in as June 22nd being a good day for the garden tour. If that's okay with everyone, we'll just run with that one.
With the backup date being the 29th.
The
if there was any reason we didn't think the 22nd would work.
Yes.
Because I think.
I know it's hard to even know like what's almost a year away.
That's the 4th Sunday of the month, so it shouldn't be Father's Day weekend.
It's usually, I'll just tell you, that's usually right around then, because that's my birthday, and it's usually at the same point, and my birthday is usually the week after Father's Day, so we should be okay.
Right
yeah, you should be okay.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, you know, we figured, Marina and I, proposed the 22nd, but if there was any reason people thought the 29th was better, we could do the 29th as the backup, but I do agree, getting that locked in as early as possible seems necessary.
Great. Okay, I will let Marina know that the 22nd is the date that we will plan for.
Well, I would just say the 29th leads you into 4th of July week, and a lot of people go on vacation that week.
That's a good point. Yeah, so I think the 22nd is the good option.
And we'll be celebrating Kristen as well. So that's great. Okay, I don't really have anything else. I've been incredibly just involved with the Pennsylvania Library Association. I will also be at the conference, of course, in my role as the 2025 conference chair in Erie, PA. So that work is starting to pick up. I've got meetings all the time, it feels like. I'm on a bunch of other committees besides those committees, but that work's going to start to pick up now. So I'm doing a lot with that. I'll be presenting at the conference. I'll be this year's conference. I'll be doing a poster session at the conference, and I'm also presenting one of my sessions at a conference in Ohio at the end of October. So I'm staying busy with all of that kind of thing. And everything's going really well here. The kids after school have, they're back, and it's been so far so good. It's early days, the weather's great. So, so far we haven't had any major issues.
Okay. Committee reports, there's nothing on here. I know the governance committee hasn't met. Have any committees met?
I just want to mention one thing regarding the garden tour from past June. I wasn't at the July meeting, so I didn't get a chance to say this then. A huge thank you to Holly.
Yes.
I was down about a dozen-ish volunteers, and I get these random emails. I'm a friend of Holidays, and I was told I have to sign up. And I'm a friend of Holidays, and she said, and I'm a friend of, and the first thing I thought was, I think Holiday knows every person in Mount Lebanon.
Everyone that likes gardening, anyway.
But all kidding aside, thank you. As all of you know, ideally, if you can get 3 people at each of the sites at each times or in each time slot, it makes things a heck of a lot easier. Somebody gets sick, has to leave, crazy things happen. And I was looking at a lot of cases at maybe 1 person. And so thank you, because you ensured that we had not only multiple people in each time slot, But in many cases, we were able to go to 3. So I wanted to make sure that that got acknowledged.
And thank you to the board members who served as volunteers as well.
It's so fun, I'm telling you. It's a great time. We laugh the whole time. People are so excited to be there. Like, and they have outfits. It's like a Taylor Swift concert. Like they plan their garden tour outfit.
Yeah,
It's a real
like Derby Day or something.
And you know, Mother Nature cooperated with us as well.
Yes.
That was not supposed to be a beautiful Sunday. And we did okay.
Just like it just was like at the end, it just then like became terrible.
Yes. Boom, you know? It was like Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you've had enough time.
We're done. Yeah, it was great.
So, but again, like I said, I wanted to make sure that that got acknowledged because it did make a gigantic difference in the ability to make that volunteer grid as healthy as we want it to be. So, thanks.
Holiday, you know you've set expectations now, so when next year rolls around, we're gonna be like.
Oh, no, I have all those emails now. No, and see, I can say next year, remember, those of you who are friends of Holiday, you know. I'll name drop, all right, you know, so, yep. But nope, all good.
I missed part of my director's report, the strategic plan update. I wanted to just talk about that really quickly.
Sure.
These are copies of the strategic plan. You can also find the strategic plan on our website, MountLebanonLibrary.org. All the way at the bottom, you'll see mission, vision, and strategic plan. So we're going to be updating it. This is not an updated version. This is the version that's on the website. I highlighted the points at the end of number 3 service that the board had created. We're just going to be looking at all of these action steps, these bullet points over the next couple of months. I hope to have it finished and updated, the action points updated by the November board meeting. So I don't know if the governance committee wants to talk about these. I don't know that you necessarily need to meet, but just discuss. We're looking to see if things have been completed already, if they're still relevant, if they make sense for us where we are right now, where the library's at. And you know, you don't have to have goals in the strategic plan as board members, but if you want to, or if you want to continue any of the ones we have or adapt them, anything like that, just, you know, we will include them. I think the first one, we're looking at under number 3 service, the last 4 bullet points. The library board of trustees will establish a regular schedule to ensure policies and procedures are current, consistent, clearly communicated to the public, and equitably enforced. We've done that. We completed that. And that's actually what my presentation at the conference is going to be about. So that one's like, you know, check that one off. Some of the other ones are maybe not necessarily still useful, or like the lead one, the lead certification, we kind of put that in there and then realized later that unless we're building from scratch, it's almost impossible to obtain lead certification.
I was gonna say, I never remember discussing this.
That was one
before
of
I was,
Evan's things.
yeah.
And then the fundraising committee ones, I don't know how, like we did receive new furniture. We didn't need to get a campaign because we had a conveniently timed request. So we did not need a campaign for new furniture. So the fundraising committee can talk about, like, maybe each of the committees will want to have a goal. I don't know. I don't know the finance really needs one. But anyway, if you all want to just think about those, maybe submit ideas to Bob.
So would Board of Trustees goals be limited to specifically what the board can do, or can they be a little broader? Or?
I don't know, we're kind of making this up as we go along. It's our strategic plan, so.
How often do you do the strategic plan? Is it annual or?
Well, this one we created in 2021, right after COVID. Okay. So some of these are very kind of COVID specific so it needs updated. You know, we're kind of beyond that now in a lot of ways. Before that, my predecessor had created Principles of Excellence in, I think it was 2012. So they were very general, just like high high arching ideals more than specific objectives. So we wanted, when we created our new vision and mission statement, to add some action steps to help us carry it out. And we put dates on a lot of these. Some of them we met easily, others we're still kind of working on. Other things just like we put them in and then they really didn't make sense for the library for what we were really doing. So we're probably going to be a little more careful with using dates and that kind of thing. I think a lot of strategic plans, they don't really date them. But so yeah, we just want to get this. I never meant for this to be something we just did and then tucked away for 10 years. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be an actively useful document.
When are you hoping to have this updated by?
I would like to have it done by the November meeting, but if that doesn't work, we could do it for the January meeting and start the year fresh.
Does the board have to approve this entire document, or is that more your purview, or?
You adopted this in June of 15th of 2021, so I guess you should probably do it again.
Okay.
Just, I mean, it'll be amended.
But I assume you and your staff will also be looking over it.
Yeah, we're already working on the other action steps.
So at some point, it will probably, it's not actually dissimilar from the things the government committee updates. We might see a.
So we can have a
yellow
draft to
line
you by November
version of this.
and then a final by January to approve.
Sanctuary library, maybe?
I would love it.
Do it.
If anybody in Allegheny County can create a sanctuary library, I think it's us.
I'm doing it before I leave, so we're doing
Fingers
it.
crossed.
Not I, we.
That's
That will be your legacy.
Yes.
I love it.
It will be.
I love it.
Okay, anybody have any questions about that? So I would say, you said by November?
If we have a draft by November, then we can clean it up and then, I mean, we're not gonna, everybody's on vacation during Christmas, like December, it's hard to get. But if we could do January or February.
Email chains are boring. Let's bring ideas to the next meeting about that. If anybody has anything, we can do that, right? If anybody has anything they're inspired by or would like to see in our mission statement, is that what we're calling this? Yeah.
No,
No.
the vision and mission,
It's
we
not
don't.
a mission statement, it's the strategic plan.
Yes, just the action
Yeah,
steps for the
yeah,
strategic plan. The basics, the vision, the mission statement are
Yes.
gonna stay the same, it's just the bullet points we're updating.
If anyone has any ideas about strategic plan, please bring them to the next meeting and I'll try to remember Robin, but please make sure that's included on the agenda. Okay. Old business space planning project update.
Okay, so we recently met with the Draw Collective. Sorry, I'm very dry. And so we met with them, they had some very preliminary drawings, which went a lot further than we had initially planned with this project, some of them. So we've talked to, it was the three of us, Jeremy, Sharon, and myself. And then we brought in the adult librarians to look at them and the children's librarians to look at the designs. So we were able to give some initial impressions. We're still very big picture impressions stage to the Draw Collective to kind of come back with something that we can share with you, with the commission. But the things we're talking about, the big concepts, the current entrance to the children's library, we like it where it is because it saves the parents having to take screaming children through the library, which a lot of them do not like to do. Like, I didn't have a problem with it, but I'm not a parent, and all the parents on staff were like, no, when your kid is screaming, you do not want them to like disrupt a room full of quiet people. So we want to keep it where it is, but we want it to be more noticeable. Like, it's the question I get asked the most when I'm on the reference desk: where is the children's library? Because it's just so unobtrusive, the entrance. So we're going to be trying to make that entrance wider, more visible. We're also talking about courtyard access, changing that wall somehow to make the entrance to the courtyard more visible, because The courtyard was added 3 or 4 years after the library was initially expanded. So they basically used the emergency exits as the entrance doors to the courtyard. So it's very hidden. Like a lot of people don't even know it's there. So we're talking about ways to make that more obvious, like, you know, big windows, double doors, something like that. We're even talking about making one large entrance rather than the 2 tiny entrances from the adult side and the children's side. We're going to keep our study rooms. I mean, we could have 2 or 3 times as many study rooms and they would probably still all be used after school. They're really popular, so we don't want to give up those. We may have to move some Sharon and Jeremy's offices upstairs, and the restrooms are something that we definitely want updated. They are out of date, hard to keep clean so that they look clean. Like they were always clean, but they don't look clean, you know what I mean? And they are ADA accessible by 1997 standards, but not necessarily by 2024 standards. So we want to get those upgraded, and that may involve actually physically moving them. So we're working on that. We're also talking about the reference desk, the circulation desk, and collection spaces, needing continuity, needing better flow through the library so it's easier to find things, signage, display spaces, quiet reading spaces. The teen area is probably going to stay pretty much the same. Children's library, we want to really just improve a lot over there as far as the sight lines and the children's desk. Because again, when you walk into the children's library, it's not immediately apparent like where you're supposed to go. You're kind of like faced with a wall of shelving. So we want the children's entrance to be very visible, and we want the desk in the children's area to be very visible. And we want to continue to have a good play space and story room and that kind of thing. So we've got a lot of, like I said, big ideas, like big high level ideas is what I mean. We're not down in the nitty gritty yet. And we're not sure how big this project's going to get. We do have some funding. The Friends have offered their support, but we don't know what that looks like yet because we have no numbers whatsoever. We may be able to write for a Keystone grant for funding for restroom improvements and things like that, ADA accessibility for the doors on the different things. But again, we have no idea what exactly we're going to do or what it's going to look like as far as the scope of this project yet. So as we get closer to that, you'll all be, the Draw Collective will present to you all, will solicit your feedback as board members, that kind of thing. But we're still, like I said, very early stages as they're trying to figure out what it is exactly we want to do. So does anyone have any questions about that? I wish I had pictures, or the drawings we have are so preliminary. I wouldn't want to put them in the public sphere because
it would be nice once we're a little farther along and the ideas are starting to get a little more concrete. Let's take the board and do a little walking tour and talk about it.
Absolutely, yes. And if any of you stop in and talk to Jeremy, he would be happy to do that. He has been like living and breathing these drawings, as you can imagine. So he'd be happy to walk you through and talk about it if you're curious and have a little spare time one day. But yes, we will absolutely plan to do that.
Okay.
Robin, how many study rooms do we have right now?
Right now we have 4 of the tiny study cubbies with the doors, and then the 2 garden study rooms, we call them, which are larger with the windows looking out over the garden. And then the other 2 rooms there are Jeremy and Sharon's offices. Before COVID, we just had the 4 study rooms garden study rooms and then open study carrels. We enclosed those to make the study rooms and gave 2 of the garden study rooms to Sharon and Jeremy for offices, because when COVID hit, they needed to be able to enclose themselves to do video conferences and things like that.
Okay, does anyone else have any other old business that's not on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to new business and the more budgeting information.
Yeah, this is just the same information you got in July, it just has the numbers on it. And usually this is something I hand out during the meeting, but I did put it into Govenda and I shared it with you via email because of the, because I knew there would be a couple of people online. But basically it's the service level narrative information that we're putting in the manager's recommended budget. And we've asked for 4 levels. The 3rd level is what we're usually funded at, which is the standard appropriation for our 68 hours. And all of our staff and programming materials and services. We did ask for an additional 17,653 because that is the difference between last year's e-resources funding and this year's. So our contribution to the county e-resources has gone up by almost $18,000 this year. So we're asking that the municipality provide us with additional funding to cover that so that we don't have to cut into our physical library collection budget. I don't know if we'll get it, but it never hurts to ask.
That was all on that?
I think so. Marcia and I went and talked to Andrew and Terry. The municipal budget is pretty healthy right now. They, you know, tax intake and everything has been good. So I think it'll be a pretty painless, knock wood, budget hearing in November. We should be fine.
Okay.
We have a wonderful municipality that gives us amazing support, so.
Any other new business from anyone that's not on the agenda? Okay, great. We will adjourn the official part of this meeting, and Robin, you may stop recording.
Okay. We're going to join in yeah, go ahead.
Just so Amy knows, we do an advocacy moment at the end of every